I'm doing
You look
real good.
beautiful.
I
You're
can't
beautiful
complain.
tonight. What
Thank
you
you.
wearing?
I'm trying to make sure my lashes is on right because you know one of them sometimes be like this, and I'm like nobody wasn't gonna tell me, but we good. We Gucci. What's up, everybody?
um, you know, I want to jump straight into it. You talked about being a PK kid and growing up when you was growing up and singing in church and all of that good stuff. Was you ever on the fence of? I don't think I've ever seen you answer this question. Was you ever on the fence of doing like gospel music or R&B? Was you ever torn in between the two?
Never. I never was on the fence whether I was gonna do secular R&B. I always knew that I was gonna sing R&B music, but I always knew that I could still sing in church. The anointing doesn't pick and choose which genre of music that you sing. I already know what my calling is, and I know what I'm supposed to be doing. That I was the one that strayed away from time to time, but it never stopped whether I could sing in a church or sing out here in these streets.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
Was
never.
your
I actually wanted to be a rapper first. Let's start there.
who was since it's Women's History Month? Who was your influences? Maybe your top five influences when it comes to female MCs.
My top five, but in no particular order. So we just gonna count it on down. I would say Whitney Houston, rest in peace to her, because she was a church girl that sang R&B. Period. Faith Evans, Mary J. Blige, the Clark sisters. There's like so many people. The Clark sisters, that's four of them. So between Dorinda, Twinkie, and Kern, that's six people right there. I already named six. Coco and SWV, Shirley Murdoch. Like there are so many to name. It's more than a top five because there were so many pieces of people that I got from before me. But then there are people that came after me that I'm just like they just as dope. So if I would have to pick that came before me, it would be those. But for the now, I would say, of course, like the Jasmine Sullivans. The A lot of people may not know who I'm about to name, but when I say sis was doing a lot of stuff before her time, Yummy Bingham, Dinky Bingham's daughter, like she was probably one of the greatest singers and still is to this day. So I know like she fell back off the music scene, but there's just so many people that I just admired and looked up to. Sheila Lakin, that's John P. Key's my uncle. So when she used to modulate, I got all that from her singing, keep on climbing on the song. So it's just so many people to choose from.
Was your family accepting to being that John was your uncle? Was your family accepting to you doing the music that you was doing, or was it a battle?
Yeah, my uncle's still one of my number one fans. My mother and father are both apostolic holiness preachers and are still my number one fans and encourages and accepts and loves everything that I do. They just tell me, just maintain your integrity because at the end of the day, this is your job. This is what you're called to do. So what I do for work and what I do for my life and how I feed my family, that's my job. But when it goes outside of work, that's when it becomes, like, okay, now you're doing too much. So far as the artistry, they never had a problem with that. But when the addiction to other things came along, that's when they ain't play that, which is like, nah.
We gotta step in here.
Yeah.
I remember the first record. I played it shortly that I heard you on was the Misty record, the Hot Boys.
Hmm.
Walk us through you meeting Missy, because I know Missy's like a big sister to you. Walk us
Hmm.
through you meeting Missy and that collaboration coming together.
Well, before I met Missy, I was writing and referencing songs and submitting them to Elektra Records. Um, Merlin Bob was the A&R at the time, and Rick Brown was his assistant. So when I got the beat, when I was in Green Acres Mall and Valley Stream / I just finished getting my nails done. I got my 212 number. So I knew when it was 212 come up, that means that that's the city. That means it's a check, it's a bag, that's the label. So I stopped at the payphone because we didn't have cell phones then. And if you did, you only could talk after 9 o'clock because the minutes, that's the part. I stopped at the payphone, I called, and Merlin was like, "Hey, Missy wants you to call her." And I was like, don't play with me. Like, why would she want me to call? That doesn't even make any sense. Like, I, I'm at the mall. And he was like, no, here, take that her number. Baby, when I say I found me a pen and paper so fast, and I wrote that number down, and I literally called her right then and there. And I believe she was driving her car at the time, and she had a cell phone. She had minutes, and she was just like, yo, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. She was like, yo, you are so dope. And like was like, want to go on tour? You want to work? I was like, yeah. She was like, when can you get here? I was like, now. So they sent the car service to me when I was living in Queens, and the rest is history. I started touring and just working with everybody, just with her blessing.
Wow, wow. Your first album was on Electrica, right?
Yes,
How
first and second
how
album.
how did that come about? Being that you started out working with Missy.
Well, she was on Missy. I mean, Missy was on Electra as well. So it was
Okay.
actually like a good oop. I wasn't signed to her, but she like was very instrumental in making sure, that I had my fair dealings, and as well as taking me on the road, because as a new artist you don't get many opportunities. So the fact that I was touring and I had created a name for myself when my album finally did drop after being pushed back, it was just like, yeah, I already made a name for myself. It's not like I really had to. Well, no, I did have to start from scratch, because being your own separate artist, it creates like people, the spotlight is on you. It's just like, well, we know she was dope with everybody else, so let's see what she could do. So it did create like some pressure on me to make sure I deliver. And I don't know if everyone remembers, 3 days prior to my album being released, that's when I was assaulted and attacked in California. So
What?
I couldn't even do any promotion or do
Oh,
anything for like 6 months after that. But I wound up doing six figures that first week, so it was still up. But I know that kind of put a damper on everything. But at the end of the day, my spirit was still like, are we still gonna come back? We still gonna make it do what it do? And then after that, I pulled it together, and I literally been torn ever since. The pandemic had me down longer than a daggone attack. Hello,
right. Mo never stay still. We
I don't
never
sit
stay
still.
from New York. We hustle. Um,
Facts.
and you grew up in Baltimore as well, right? You moved around a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, what's some of the places that you live? I know you lived in New York. I know you lived in
Everywhere. I'm from the United States. If listen, I done lived in LA, I done lived in Fort Hood, Texas, Killeen, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, goddamn, Fayetteville, North Carolina, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, North Philly, daggone, Baltimore, Westminster, New York, everywhere. I've been everywhere, but with my dad being ex-military, it helped me move around a lot. So I got to see the world, and that's why me being still doesn't exist. Like I, I've always moved on, but from the sixth grade on, we was always gone. So I was just used to it. Charlotte, North Carolina, everywhere. Like it's always been up for me.
before we move on from Missy, I remember some years back we did the dedication to Missy. What's something that Missy has, being under her wing, has maybe told you or taught you that that stuck with you, and no matter what you go through in life, you could kind of think about it, and it kind of
Hmm.
help pull you through.
She told me never take no for an answer, and charge what you want to leave out that house, because somebody's getting paid and they got the money. If not, sit down. Period. Like she told me that for real, like a lot of people think that it's just like all you do is sing all day. No. You handle more. I don't know when the last time I sang besides being in the studio and just like, just basically
Mhm.
performing a year ago. Um, Prior to that, it's just like honestly, I handle more business than I do actually singing. So you really is 90-10 10% singing, 90% business, handling everything. She was just like, handle your business, because everybody's going to go through something in this industry. You cannot go around the process. You just have to trust the process. And everybody done been through their war stories, their horror stories, done got robbed, done got,
Facts.
points taken, done had to have some cease and desist go on. It comes with the territory. That's like
Facts.
saying every lawyer, like a lawyer want all the cases. No, they didn't. Like, so for artists, you're going to go through things, but you can't let that get you down. Like you still got to push through, and you still got to get your bag. So even when you do things that you're generally not charging your normal fee for, still get a bag, because that's how you pay your bills. Like
Mm.
this is all I do. I literally dropped out of hair school and started going on tour Boom, I was out. I wasn't even, when I first started touring, I wasn't even old enough to be touring. I was out. We was outside from high school. My dad would take me, drop me off on Friday. We was tour. I've been touring all my life. So it's just like, there's no reason why now I shouldn't know the business. And that's why I try to drop gems here and there for the people so they can pay attention. So you don't have to make the mistakes I made, because everybody's going to make mistakes, and I'm not going to point no fingers, and I'm not going to say, oh, you did it wrong. Listen, learn from me. Trust me. I am an open book, and I'm here to help, because this generation is
Yeah.
honestly is what's going to carry the torch from here on out, you know?
Mm-hmm. Before we move on, shout out to Misty. I spoke to Tweet a while back. I spoke to a lot of people, and Missy
That's
has.
love.
I don't
Love
think
too.
she get enough credit, but she's helped a lot of people, and she's
Yep.
given a lot of folks opportunities and did a lot of work behind the scenes. So definitely much love to Missy.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a few years ago. A few years ago, you had announced that you were kind of like leaving the music scene,
Mm-hmm.
um, and you were going to pursue to be an attorney. Was you fed up with the industry at that time? Was it something with the politics of the industry, or was it one of those things? Well, I know that's something that you always wanted to do too.
Mm-hmm.
You've always stated that. The first show I did with you in 2010, I was looking at the footage the other day, and um, it was like an interview you had backstage, and I
Mm-hmm.
remember you saying that you wanted to be an attorney. So it kind of just came back full, and I was like, damn, I forgot all about that. Even a
I ain't
couple years
forget.
ago, even a couple years ago, of course, when you announced that that's what you wanted to do, just a
Yeah.
few days ago, because back then I didn't know where it came from. But a few days ago, when I went back and watched the footage, I was like, damn, Mo's always said that.
Mm-hmm.
So was it just that timing that what you wanted to do, or it had a lot to do with the politics of the industry?
No, it is still not too late for me to become an attorney. I just think that that's something I honestly always wanted to do. But when I put things in perspective, it's just like the dedication that it takes to become an attorney, the schooling and the undergrad and the SATs and all the stuff that you have to do, like that takes time. So I could still
Sacrifice.
study it and I can still become a lawyer, or I can join on with Van Jones and Lewis Reed in the prison reform and work with lawyers and still do what I want to do. You feel me? I can still represent myself, period. So I'm still Little Mo the GOAT, but I would love the Esquire behind my name. But I'm not saying that time is running out. But there are other ways that I can use my voice and my influence to help to honestly with criminal justice, which I honestly really wanted to do. There was a time I wanted to leave the industry because I was like, I felt like people don't have that respect, or they just, once you're not the it girl no more, they move on. But that was just me being selfish to myself, not realizing that no, God gave you a voice. And you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to sit in the courtroom and try to rack your brain and have all this anxiety and all this stuff going on, trying to defend somebody that may not be guilty. You can use your voice to heal, to still get your point across. And then those people will call you and be like, hey, we want you to join onto our platform because we know this is something that you always wanted to do. So I'm just like, hey, that's what I'm using my voice for, to speak up and out against, people being wrongfully convicted, sitting in prison, getting dates pushed back over a violation of probation, or because maybe they didn't pay their child support on time because the mail is stuck. Like, it's so many people that are literally sitting in jail right now that could be home that are not guilty, period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
So,
always think
you
back. I
know,
always think back to the Khalif story too when we talk about stuff like this. Being that we from New York and I'm from New York,
yeah.
I always when this kind of stuff comes up, I always just think about that. Like I was even watching that documentary the other day, and I was just like, really just sitting there for no reason, and the way the system is just completely messed up, and
Mm-hmm.
there's no people get sent to jail, and there's nothing coming out of that. You come
At
out, you
all.
got to start life all over. You mentally not prepared for society, and they ship you back out to the streets and expect you not to get back, not to go back to that
And then
environment again.
you coming right back. Like, that system was not meant for humans, honestly. Let's just be real. So now they just locking people up. Just the funding that goes behind it. It's a whole new different live that we'll have to do to talk about that. Just know that they get more money for people being in prison than people being in college. We got to cut all that out. That does something to my spirit. So that's why, even if I don't have the Esquire, but her my name, I'll have a goat back there to know that LIL'MO stood for something and she don't fall for everything.
They said LIL'MO VP for 2024.
Yeah, maybe I should run for president, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Mo, you've done quite a few like reality TV shows. Is there anything that you've ever said or done on there that after you saw it, you was like, damn, I should have never did that, or if I could take that back, I would?
One thing about me is I don't regret anything that I've done. Do I feel like I should have done things differently? Yes. But no one can make you do or say anything that you don't want to say. Now, the way they edit and put it together, be like, wait a minute, that came after the fact, but I get it. I'm not a part of the editing process. Yeah. So there were times that we had to refilm stuff or certain shows, or they had to catch something, or you just know to keep your mouth shut because everything you can say will be used in editing. And if they need a #1 show, trust and believe they're going to run with that. So you can say, I want to come on and showcase my music, but then they can find out that you're beefing with somebody or some weird shit is going on. Next thing you know, that's the focal point. So there was nothing I ever said or did on reality TV that I regret. I just feel that, like, there was sometimes I wish I could have changed my outfit. I'd be like, oh my God, my wig wasn't even laid at the end of the day. But sometimes they would call
one of my lashes.
Yeah, but like nobody wasn't gonna tell me my lash was like this. Like when it comes to stuff like that. But other than that, whatever's out there is out there. But I get to see what people saw and I get to fix that. Because when I was doing reality TV, I was going through a real low point in my life, and I'm not making excuses. I'm taking full accountability for everything I accepted and I allowed. I wanted the world to see it so I could show you how we bring this on back in. And that's why I got the song Broken Heart out, because everything up until now it'll all make sense with this whole project that we have put together. The project that I've always wanted to do all my life.
Would you ever do reality TV again?
Yes, but on my terms, like my own show. As far as we've turned down, I can tell you 3 reality shows this whole pandemic. So while people was like, oh, it's a bag, I'm just like, you know what?
Me too,
all money ain't good money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to become nobody's sidekick. I'm not nobody's and them. I'm not nobody's FaceTime call. I'm not nobody's booty call. Never have, never will be. So with this movement, everything is strategic. Everything is going to be decent and in order. And before it hits the screen, the airways, I'm gonna say this is what I want the world to see. That's the control that I like to have. Because there's sometimes I'll be like, all right, let me give somebody a chance to, make it make sense. This is what people want to see. But no, I'm coming back for my respect. So anything I do from radio, TV, movies, anything from here on out will be I'm very selective in everything I do right now. Because it's only so much people could take before they like, yo, you supposed to be the superwoman, but you letting people drag you, honestly, low key, like play your face. Nah, I'm not never that. We ain't on. Nah, I ain't never was with that.
You've been divorced for quite some time now.
Yeah.
You've been very open about some of the things that you went through in your marriage. What was the final straw for you that you said, I gotta get out of this relationship?
When I saw myself losing myself for no reason, and I knew better, and that everybody wasn't lying, like the abusive part, I've spoken on this before, was just like, there was a point where, of course, that assault and battery, because that's the term. When somebody spits on you, that's battery. That is against the law, period. So when it gets to that point when it's like, dang, like, that's the lowest, and everybody can say, if somebody ever did this to me, and that's one of the things I always said. So then when I realized that was happening to me, I was like, oh, I'm accepting stuff that I don't normally accept. So that was a low point. And that's when I realized, nah, it's time for me to get myself and pull myself back together, because I have children. And I know if somebody did that to one of my kids, it's up and stuck for whoever. But if they start saying, well, mommy allowed it, so nope. When it becomes too low, we go high. And one thing I don't play about is my integrity, my dignity, and the empathy that I had towards certain situations. I'm a Scorpio. Once I'm done, I'm done. And I was done. I was ready to get my life back. I was tired of looking crazy. I was tired of spending thousands of dollars to alter my mind and my body so I didn't have to deal with the pain. But then at the end of the day, you have to go through the withdrawal to get to the next level. And I put myself through it. Like I went through it. But now everything that I love, you know, you're like, I put that on everything I love. Everything I love is attached to me and it's with me, from my kids to my energy. That's all I wanted back.
For the
Okay.
for the
Yeah.
people, Mo, for the people that's watching, who may be in that situation or who may be unsure, how do you recognize the red flags that you in an abusive relationship?
Everybody sees the red flags. We overlook them for the simple fact we just be like, oh, I can deal with this, or oh, I know what this is. Da da da. But I'm not gonna keep on delving into that situation because, like, we'll be here all day. There's so many things I could name that was a red flag. Number one, when I first started seeing stuff on the blogs, and my friends would hit me up, be like, "Sis, you good?" So I did down. All I gotta say is, you'll see the red flags. Women are gifted with intuition. You'll know. And if you don't know, go listen to the song Broken Heart. If you ever get to the point where you have to tell God and you praying, ask him to reveal the red flags if you don't see them yourself. So that's it.
You also spoken openly about you being addicted to opioids, and you know what could you say? What could you say to your peers or anyone that's watching, who's struggling with that addiction or any addiction they trying to come clean? What could you say to them?
You can stop, and you can stop today. Don't let nothing control you. It's all in the mind. You have to let it go because you don't want to die that way. It's not good, especially not now.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically all I could say.
Mm-hmm. You know, most people would have, because we didn't know. You know, we didn't know about what she was going through. Most people would have probably kept it private and didn't say anything and dealt with it privately and moved on from it. What pushed you to come out to the public and say, was it just to help people, or was it like a therapeutic for yourself?
Both. It was, first of all, I had to want to do better. And then I know people knew. Like, people not stupid. My kids not stupid, period. My mother and them not stupid. Like, at the end of the day, I knew I had to get back to me. And I know with me speaking up and speaking out, it will help so many others. So that's why I'm just like, I'm done with all that foolishness. Get your mind together. Get this music together. Sing. That's the way people want to hear me. And that's what they want to see from me. So that's what I'm giving everybody. I just got like, um, I just have to wrap it up. My manager just texted me because I got another interview I got to hop on, like literally within the next couple of minutes. So it's just like, if I could leave y'all with anything, I would say Broken Heart is not a sad girl anthem. It's literally the final straw. We all have that window, or what do they call it? That crossroad where you can go right or wrong. When you make the decision within yourself to be like, I want to do the right thing, stick with it. It gets rough, but it's right. It gets real, but it's right. You're going to lose a lot of stuff. Material things, it may cost you a lot, but that's the right thing to do, especially for now. We don't know what the world holds. You see, they could shut everything down within a blink of an eye. So what you think is from 2 weeks to be 2 months, 2 months to turn into a year. Everything changed for everybody. Get back to yourself. You owe that to yourself. If you have children, you owe that to your children. You do not want your children to be in the system. So that with that, run it up. Broken Heart out now. I love y'all. Thank you,
Mo, before you
FloWay,
go,
for letting it
I
be
got
the
one
Mo
question for
way.
you, Mo. Mo, before you go, I got one question for you. I ask everyone who come on here. What do you want your legacy to be?
I want my legacy to be that, yo, she was the realest. I didn't realize who I was before now, but I had to get back to me. So when they talk about me now, be like, oh yeah, she used to, nah, cut that conversation off. Mo too real. Mo the realest. She was raised right. She did wrong on her own. That's not how she was raised. Everybody that know me know I come from fertile ground, from humble beginnings, and my foundation is solid. So with that, that's all I want people to know about me. Mo solid. The way they love Pop, that's the way I want them to love me. I'm a real one, baby. I just could
I
sing,
love
and
you,
a lot of
Mo.
people know my name.
We love you, Mo. We thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
everything that you continue to give us and the culture. We love you. Y'all make sure y'all run Broken Heart up. I'm gonna play it after you
Thank
get
you.
off here, so everyone can continue to hear it and really hear the message. It's been on repeat since I heard it. It's much love. Me and
Thank
my
you.
fiance love it. Mo, I see you soon. Blessings to you. We love you, sis.
Thank you to
Thank you.
everybody that joined.